So chapter 10, equations of circles. It's a standard equation, but there's one thing in it that tricks some students, so make sure you're staying with me. Now last year was your algebra year, right? Last year you should have done tons of equations of lines, yes? As in y equals mx plus b, do you remember that? Okay, so it's kind of the same today. It's a formula that we're going to use. The very first part of your notes, let's copy down the formula. It's up there, but I'm going to write it again. So the formula for a circle always is in this standard equation. So it's x minus h, don't forget to square that, plus y minus k, don't forget to square that, is going to equal r squared. Make sure you get down the formula. So you have to know how to use it. Because the x and y are just standard. They're always in there. H and k is something and r is something. What's the r? Radius. What gets forgotten in this chapter is you always have to square it. So r is the radius, right? Okay, get yourself a circle really quick. And then draw on your radius. So eyeball your center. Here's r. R is the radius. Don't forget to square it. Okay, if you're going to have to use this equation to draw a circle, you're definitely going to need the radius. What else would you have to use? Well, what would you need? The center would be helpful, don't you agree? Well, the center's in there. The center is in the form HK. Right here. This is your center. It's a point. So it's this center of your circle right there. So you just pull the numbers out of the equation and it's the center of your circle. Here's what gets tricky. Now the standard equation, we're subtracting, right? X minus h. Right here we're subtracting y minus k. So if it's a subtract sign, you just pull the number out. So let me write over here. If we had an equation, I'm just making this up, x minus 6 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 9. Any idea what the center would be? Okay, is it 6, 2, or is it negative 6, negative 2? It's actually just 6, 2. Is that going to confuse you? The center would just be 6, 2 because that fits the formula perfectly. Because the formula starts with subtract signs. Okay, question, what's the radius? Show me with your fingers what it is. Yes, it's 3 because you got to take the square root of it. So if you want to add in that example, I'm kind of out of room, but this is the h and this is the k. So it would be 6, 2 for hk, that's the center. And then the radius, you have to square root 9, so the radius is 3. You guys picked that up fast. Good work. Go ahead, Ellie. What if they are positive? So if this was x plus 6, what do you think? It would be a negative 6 for your center. And I'll show you why in a little bit. That's a great question. Okay, let's look at our first example. We're in the standard equation of the circle with center 0, 6 and radius 3.6. Okay, this one I actually left what's in your notebooks. It's pretty nice because they already copied down the equation for us. That's just the standard equation. Stop. Do you have to stress about memorizing this formula? Where is it going to be? Reference sheet. It's on there for you. And I think it actually tells you H, K, and R. It reminds you. Okay, so on your notes right here, 0, is that an H or a K? Underneath that, put an H. 6, H or K? All right. And then this 3.6 is the R, right? Okay, so this one, take out the H in the standard formula, put in a 0. Take out the K, put in a 6. Take out the R and put 3.6. And it just kind of falls into place. Right here, because if you subtract 0 from x, is it going to change x? No, so they just put it's going to be x squared. We don't need that minus 0. Right here, you don't have to do anything. You want to keep it in that form, so just put y minus 6 squared. The radius, you do want to square that, so grab your calculators. Do 3.6 squared, or same thing, 3.6 times 3.6. Can I get a hand in here? I get confused. Aiden, what is it? 4.96? Okay. Okay, box it up. That's your final answer. That's what the standard equation of that circle would look like. That's it. It's kind of nice when they give you and you just have to fill in the pieces. Ty, a question, go ahead.
So why do we leave that second
The y minus 6 part, why do we leave it? That's the form for the equation, so you just leave it as is. So that way if someone comes along, Tayo, and they just look at your equation, they should be able to graph it. Just by looking at it, they would know that, okay, that center is 0, 6 with the radius 3.6. We'll get into that in just a little bit. Tyler, question?
Then why don't we do 3.6 squared with x minus 0 squared?
The x minus 0 squared, that's kind of like math manners. You don't need it. It's not going to change anything. You don't need a minus 0 in there. The 3.6 squared, it's the radius. We have the actual measurement of it. Because, guys, when you're squaring y minus 6 squared, some of you still think that is y squared minus 36. Is it? It's way sloppier than that. You would have to do y minus 6 times y minus 6. That FOIL first out inside last is messy. Might as well just leave it. These are great questions. Okay, let's go to this part. Again, I left your notes in here because this one you have to do distance formula. Will you read it first and see why we have to do distance formula? What information are we missing? Ugh. We're missing the radius, but we know the center and we know to the edge of the circle distance formula. Do you have to have this memorized? Where can you find it? Okay, this is good because we have the CRT coming up, right? It's definitely going to have distance questions on there. Okay, so on your notes, let's see, it looks like they use this one. So will you write it in there, please? That's the first x coordinate and the first y coordinate. This one's the second x coordinate and the second y coordinate. Distance formula, if you forgot, you take your second x coordinate minus your first x coordinate. So negative 3 minus a negative 1. Plus, and you do the same thing for the y's. Second y coordinate minus first y coordinate, so 4 minus 1. Okay, be careful right here. Negative 3 minus a negative 1, do you know what that is? It's like adding, right? So that's a negative 2 squared right here. Plus 4 minus 1, that's just 3 squared, right? Okay, this one, they just assume you got this. If you want to add a step, go for it. Because what's negative 2 times negative 2? Perfect. What's 3 times 3? So inside this is 4 plus 9. What's 4 plus 9? Okay. Now hint. I probably wouldn't change that to a decimal right now. Because we're going to have to square it in just a second. And what's the square root of 13 times the square root of 13? 13. So we might as well just leave it in radical form. So right here we've got our HK is negative 3/4 from the problem. R is the square root of 13. Let's put it into the formula. Okay, this is why it changes to a plus sign. You guys have the background knowledge to know why. So right here, which one do we put by the x? Do we put negative 3 here or 4? Okay, put it in. So x minus negative 3 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals radius squared. Okay, right here. When you subtract a negative, what happens? It's like adding, do you agree? That's why it becomes a plus. Subtracting a negative, so now this is x plus 3 squared. Plus y, we can just keep this one, minus 4 squared. Square root of 13 times the square root of 13 is? There's your final standard equation for that circle. Kind of a doozy, because we had to add in the distance formula, right? Okay, good work. Flip that page. Let's do some more examples. This one, I think I might hide this. I think we okay, here we go. Standard equation of the circle is x minus 3 squared plus y plus 1 squared equals 16. Okay, find a spot on your notes. Let me change this to a more friendly color. Okay, we need to make sure we know the center of the circle. We need that to graph. We also need the radius of the circle. Let's go backwards. What do you think the radius of the circle is? It is 4. Where did 4 come from, though? You got to square root it, right? So radius is the square root of 16. So radius is 4. Okay. All right, the center. This right here is your H. And this right here is your K, but you have to be careful. So center is always in point form. So something, something so we can graph it. So what's the h? Is it 3 or negative 3? It's 3. That's kind of like tricky in our brain, right? So what's the k? Yes, guys, you picked that up so fast. Good work. Okay, graph the point 3, negative 1 first. Do your center first. Okay, so over 3, down 1. Here's our center. Okay, then start at your center and count the radius out. I always go top, bottom, left, and right. So start here, go up 1, 2, 3, 4, make a mark. Go back to the center, over 1, 2, 3, 4, make a mark. Back to the center, down 1, 2, 3, 4, make a mark. Back to the center, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then good luck, you gotta make a circle. I'm terrible at this, good luck. Make a circle hitting those points on the circle. Oh man, you guys are better. Mine always looks wonky. Oh man, that might be the best ever.
Mine looks like a bulging.
Yeah, we were just gonna do our best. Call it good. Okay, you're gonna have questions on your assignment that ask about certain points. Okay, are you ready? I have a question about a point. You have to tell me if it's inside the circle, outside the circle, or on the circle. So interior, exterior, on. The point 7, 2. Do you agree with Ellie? Do you agree? Exterior, it's outside the circle. All right, what about the point 2, 2? What about the point negative 1, negative 1? On would be the best, right? It's on the circle. You've either got interior, exterior, or on the circle. Will you guys be okay with those questions?
Yes.
I actually, I'm going to have you graph it first so you can see it rather than just assuming. Next part, write the standard equation of a circle with center negative 5, negative 3, radius 5.2. Oh, we got this. All right, negative 5, is that h or k? All right, negative 3, h or k? And then this is the r, right? So our standard equation is, what do you think? Did you hear this question? Since they're negative, do we need to do x plus? Yeah, we do. So let's do x plus what? 5. Don't forget that's squared. Plus y what? Good work. Plus 3. Yep, equals 5.2 squared. However, this was Tyler's question. Technically, math matters. We should take care of that. So grab your calculators. 27.04. So best final answer would be all of this together and then square that 5.2. You guys said 27.04, right?
Yeah.
How many? Oh yeah, I got that. You okay with those questions? Don't be tricked by the negatives. Okay, sweet. Let's go to the next one then. This one. This is or this right. So I'm gonna pause the recording so you have time to try it before we go over it together. Distance formula. It's your second x coordinate minus your first x coordinate. Don't forget to square it. Plus the y, second one, minus the first y coordinate. Square. Okay, well you get a head start. Try this. Okay, keep going. Looks like most of you are wrapping it up. I just chose to use the first point as the second coordinate just so I could go in order. So now I've got, let's see, 4 plus 2 squared. That's 6 squared. Plus negative 5 minus 3. Negative 8. So that's going to be, oh, this is nice, 36 plus 64. Because what's the distance? What's the square root of 100? Yes. All right, we just found the distance, but what else did we just find? The radius. So I'm going to write that too. So that's the radius. Now, yes, Ellie, we've got to stick it in the formula. So back to this. Our formula, x minus h squared. What's h? Which one? All right, so how do we write that then? Perfect. So formula x plus 2, square it, plus, how do we write the next part? Nice. I'm going to run out of room. Squared equals r squared. That's the formula. 100. 10 times 10, 100. I'll sneak it in. Curious, how many of you got that? All together, you did? This is for, I'm impressed. Good work, good work. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, this one. Can you graph it? Make sure you identify the center and the radius, and then good luck. Will you come to the board and will you just write the center and then just graph the center? That's it. We're going to break it into pieces. Somebody mind coming to the board for that? Okay, can I call on you? Tayo, come on up. Thanks. Perfect. And will you write it right by the center too? In the blue? Will you write the point?
Oh.
Nice. Call on someone to do the radius for us. Anybody you want. You talk right in the mic too.
Well, since this is, you know that it's radius squared, you just do the square root of 9 and that's 3. So you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
Perfect. And will you write 3 by the radius? Do you want to try the circle? No judgment from me. Yeah. Okay, good luck.
You're jealous.
Good job. How many of you are okay with that? Feel pretty good with the graphing part of it? Okay, we're going to stop here.